Morning, Coach. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
You've been through these camps before. I mean, there seems to be a lot of new talent and new players who haven't maybe gotten some Olympic experience with you guys right now in the 5-on-5, and just how big is this for them to sort of show you in the committee, since the committee makes decisions, that they might fit in the Paris plans, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. We also appreciate the players making time to be here to take advantage of this window, and for some, to get, like you said, that really quality look in game situations, and a few days of practice here in Atlanta, and then over to Durham for another fun game, and just great opportunity for them. I think they'll tell you that. It is important that they make the time that they have. It's important in terms of our ability to spend time together. And then also, obviously, their individual goals to try to be a part of the final roster representing the national team in Paris.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
We'll move to Nancy next.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for doing this, and apologize for not being on camera. My laptop camera is broken. Wanted to see what you've seen.
Not good to see.
Wanted to see what you've seen from BG, and have you talked with her about what it means to her to represent the U.S. and whether she has any concerns about playing overseas? She said that the only time that she would do it is if she's with the U.S.
Yeah, I had a chance actually during our WNBA season when the Mercury had come to town the second time to Minneapolis, and we chatted before the game, and she actually approached me and said, asked me if I was excited about the camps, the windows, that we had in the off season, and certainly expressed my enthusiasm and how much I enjoyed. And then I asked her, are you excited? And actually, I don't know if I had to ask her. I think she told me she was excited, and so I sort of broached the topic of, hey, like, we'd love to have you in everything that we do. Certainly want to respect anything that she's feeling, and logistics, et cetera, all that goes into this for her. And, if she could be at the camp this week, great. And then I asked her how she felt about February, and she was very quick to respond that I'm traveling with USA Basketball. I feel good. And so it didn't appear to be any hesitation or trepidation on her end. And, in terms of her enthusiasm, I think it's palpable, from, the first day and doing media and talking about, wearing the shirt again. And she talks a fair amount about, when sometimes when things are, quote, taken away from you, that feeling. This is near and dear to her USA Basketball experience. She's very committed. And so the opportunity to be back, again, it's been palpable how she feels about it.
All right, we'll go to Erica next.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. Thanks for the time. Good to see you. I wanted to actually ask you about Angel McCoughtry. So, we haven't seen her in the WNBA mix for a little bit, but we'll be able to see her at this training camp. And what were some conversations that you had with Angel, and kind of what is the directive there between USA Basketball and the McCoughtry camp right now?
I'm actually not involved in that decision. That's a committee decision, and the conversations with Angel and her camp and USA Basketball camp, those were between them. I just was informed of who was participating in the camps, and I work on who's there and what we're going to do basketball wise. It'll be good to see Angel, the two-time Olympian that she is, and her experience certainly will be helpful in our time here as we prepare.
Just to quickly follow up, so you haven't had a chance to chat with Angel yet as of this conversation?
I have not. No,
okay.
No, we can practice a couple hours or sooner, and I'll see her there for the first time.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Annie, go ahead.
Hey, Cheryl. I have a question about Kalia and her growth since last year with the World Cup. Curious what you've seen from her, and what conversations you've had with her about what you need to see from her to potentially, make a mark on this Olympic roster.
Well, I thought, I was a part of the first camp that she came to, and then certainly around the World Cup preparation, and then over at the World Cup. And the two experiences, and from my standpoint, were night and day. You know, the first one was kind of like, you know, the first time you come to USA Basketball, you don't know what to expect, you're feeling it out. And then also, Kahleah Copper had not been the MVP of the finals. And so I think that catapulted her. You could certainly ask her this, but it seemed to catapult her into a different mentality about how she felt about herself and what she was capable of doing. And so then when she came to us in USA Basketball for the World Cup, I noticed a starkly different player in terms of her overall confidence. She just went to work. You know, she wasn't confident. She wasn't hesitant. She just went out there, and I just asked the players to be themselves. And I thought Ka did that. Try to put the impact on the team, within the framework of what we're trying to do, but certainly, don't hesitate and defer and wonder if you should do things. That's not a great space to be in. Ka grabbed a hold of that and was very impactful for us in Sydney, and has been impactful in the few days that we've had thus far. And so I think she certainly has grown and has positioned herself well within this pool. And then obviously, there's a ways to go.
Right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Jackie?
Hey, Cheryl, good to see you.
Jackie.
Just have a couple here. The first one is sort of going back to BG, but just in general, where this team is going. I guess, how in this camp are you building off of what you accomplished in Sydney, or is part of it changing things up with new folks back or new folks coming in? And how do you sort of do both, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the answer would be we're trying to do both. Like I thought that what we did in Sydney and the identity that we established with playing off of our defense and being aggressive, I think we have a couple of things necessary to do that successfully. One, the physical abilities, and two, the depth. And so we want to make sure we're maximizing that, and we would like to generate offense off of that, and put ourselves in position to increase the number of possessions in the game. And so we're continuing to build on that. And so anyone that's here at this camp will feel that. They'll feel that the pace that we want to play at, certainly if you're going to defend at that level, you should have a chance to either turn a team over, seek deflections, low percentage shots, get a rebound, and play fast and play early. And so that's a pretty strong messaging in the work that we do. And then you mentioned, there are players here that we didn't have a chance to have in Sydney, and that was, namely Taurasi and Griner that are here at the camp. And so incorporating, it was a little bit difficult in Sydney. If you remember, there were some really good players in the finals that came to us when the World Cup was already in motion. Pool play had already begun, and we just inserted them in there. So I'd say that I'm still learning about some of the combinations of players, and that's what this is really, really valuable for. I have maybe an idea or a comfort level of things that I like to do offensively, particularly in the half court. And I have to learn, how, places where I need to be nimble and move, and, to make sure that we're maximizing the group that we have. Sometimes we could be really big, sometimes we can be small. And so, finding a way without overdoing it, because you don't have a lot of time. The drill down is not really possible with USA Basketball. You have to form a simple identity and really maximize that each time you're with the team.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Akeem?
Akeem Balin, beyondthew.com. Hopefully everything's going good, Coach. Kind of a two-parter. Given all your years that you've had the opportunity to spend within USA Basketball, what has been the number one thing that you've had a chance to evaluate, not only about this team, but also about the international competition, as well as did you have a chance to watch the Notre Dame South Carolina game, given it's in the same city that next year's Olympics will be in, and just the significance of that?
Yeah, well, I can say we were watching it not because it was in Paris. We were going to watch it wherever the hell it was. So we all had our phones out, and we were paying attention, and we saw obviously a lot of the great things that those of you all that watched, but fun that it was in Paris, as a lead up to what we're doing. In terms of lessons along the way, that's probably my favorite thing. It's about my 10th year of being involved with USA Basketball, having the role of being a scout and preparing. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about the different countries and their styles of play. When there's coaching changes, keeping up with those sort of things, evolution of players, either from having a young team and they evolve, or maybe players moving off a national team, the next wave coming in. I think in terms of style of play, I think probably the biggest takeaway is how physical it is internationally, and how important I think it is to be able to handle that, to be able to have guard play that can handle such physicality, and then certainly one of the separators that have been for USA Basketball for the entirety of my 10 years. And if you think about some of the players that we've had post play, has been a separator for us. And so it's a little bit of both. Certainly defensively, we know that, more of an open, 3-ball, I think the idea of what you have to defend maybe is a little bit different than what we defend in the W. And so sort of being aware of the trends in Europe. And we, I think in the W, we steal from Europe. So there is a little bit of maybe more of a connection between the W and Europe than maybe there was when I first started.
Thanks as always.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Sorry, Megan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. Megan Hall with For the Win in USA Today. Just wanted to ask you, you've got quite a roster here with some young hoopers, some young ballers there, Leah Boston, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, also some seasoned folks. So my question to you, I guess, is what excites you, I guess, the most about the roster? And then what do you find to be maybe perhaps challenging with this roster?
Well, I think the excitement is, again, the physical abilities. Obviously I coach in the WNBA and I coach against these players. It is always really fun to see them, all coming together to be on the team. And what is overwhelming is the talent. These are the best of the best. And that's what I told them. It's every time USA Basketball calls, it's an honor. And the reason why it's an honor, whether it was me getting the call or players getting call, is you understand what great company you're in and how hard it is to do, because our league is really, really good, really, really good. And the depth of the league. And so to be selected amongst a small group, I mean, that's an incredible honor. And so that's what always sort of overwhelms me when I'm here is just the talent that I get a chance to be around. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't see challenges with that scenario. We could be good at multiple things with this group, and you only get a chance to pick a couple of things to be good at. But there's a plethora of things you can do given the amount of talent that we have here.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
With that, we'll let Coach go so that we can sub her out for Sab. So if you guys have questions for Sab, please raise your hands. Thanks.